I've changed my live streaming camera setup no less than 3 different times in the last 3 years. And as someone who owns 13 different cameras, there's only one camera that I keep coming back to because of the balance of affordability, the image quality, and how simple it is to fit into my home live streaming setup. And I'll walk you through my exact setup that I use at home with every piece of gear so you can see why this camera works so well. When I first started streaming from my office and my home, it was crucial to find something that wouldn't cost the same as my everyday camera for corporate work. Fortunately, there's tons of cameras that can do the job and still make you look really good on screen. Nice. This brings me to today's sponsor, Riverside, which makes me look really good on camera and allows me to record videos remotely from anywhere. They also have a magical AI-powered editor that you can use all from an internet browser. More on that in just a little bit. The camera I use on an everyday basis is the Canon C70, and after it was kitted out with lenses, memory cards, batteries, and everything else, the price tag quickly exceeded $15,000. That's not bad for a Netflix-approved camera, but it was a price tag that I financed over 2 years just to pay it off. I'm guessing you're probably not expecting your home live stream to be the same quality as Stranger Things, but there's a good chance that you want it to look a bit better than if your mom recorded it on her 6-year-old iPhone. In comes the Sony ZV-E10. It's a compact mirrorless camera, and when combined with the Sigma 16mm f1.4 lens for a smooth out-of-focus background, this compact powerhouse delivers for most sit-down at the desk type of setups. I'll link to it below in the description along with any other gear mentioned here.
Here's where Riverside comes into play, because in one click, I can remove all of the background noise from my videos. So whether it's the hum of the HVAC unit or noise from neighbors in my condo building, I can magically remove it and make my voice sound pristine with Magic Audio. In fact, you probably thought that I was using this fancy podcast mic, but let me slide this away and show you that the audio was actually coming from my camera's built-in mic the whole time. Even better, you don't have to record in Riverside to leverage their Magic Audio tool. You can upload any video, click a button, and bam, magic. Ready to save yourself a ton of time and headache fixing your audio? Click the link in the description and use coupon code ZEPHIN for a 20% discount on Riverside today.
If you're wondering what the footage looks like from the ZV-E10, well, you're looking at it. For at least the last 3 months, all of my content has been recorded on this camera in 4K, and I'd argue for the price tag of less than $700 for the camera body, this little guy packs a punch. In a moment, I'll show you how I mount the camera to my computer desk in a way that I can easily attach a teleprompter or simply use it as my Zoom camera when I'm on client calls. But first, a few quick specs. The ZV-E10 has a crop sensor, it's APS-C, 24.2 megapixels, that's capable of 4K video oversampled from 6K with no pixel binning. This means that the camera's sensor is actually seeing a 6K image and downsizing it to 4K for an extra sharp, high quality shot. I power it with a dummy battery power supply adapter that mimics the use of a battery, so I can run the camera for as long as I wish. While I could connect this camera directly to the computer and use a USB cable for streaming purposes, I won't get the full 4K output from the camera, so armed with an HDMI cable and the Rode Streamer X, I get 4K video capture straight into my Mac Studio. The Rode Streamer X not only allows for me to capture video, but I can also loop the video feed out to a recorder, such as a HyperDeck or a Ninja. This way, I can record the 4K video in the highest possible quality without bogging down my computer while it handles the capture and streaming. This is also way easier than recording to SD card in camera, since the camera is mounted onto my desk using a Ulanzi live broadcast arm, and so I never have to take the camera on or off the stand if I record externally. For audio, I've got options. Between the Deity vMic D4, which is boomed overhead off of the Ulanzi stand, or I can swing over my Shure MV7 podcasting microphone. While the Deity goes directly into the camera, if I'm on a Zoom call, I may switch over to the MV7, which connects via USB. I could easily switch the USB cable out for XLR though, and run it through the Rode Streamer X. Typically for YouTube videos, I'll use the overhead mic to keep it out of the frame. On the lighting side, I use a Varipole from Impact, and I've mounted the Aputure F21X bicolor light as my key light and the Aputure COB60X as my hair light to separate me from the background. The two LED Edison bulbs in my background help to fill in the background slightly, and there's definitely a little bit more room for improvement if I later add a fill light. I've slowly added some sound dampening panels to the wall in this room, as you can see behind me, but there's certainly a need for a carpet to cover the hardwood floors and perhaps a sound panel above me and to the side. For now, I've been leveraging Riverside podcast audio cleanup tool to save me on time and money, which does a pretty good job so long as you're good at enunciating your words. If you mumble or talk lower, it can have the tendency to alter your sound too much. When it comes time to live stream, my computer is directly connected to my router via Ethernet, and since the Rode Streamer X allows my computer to see the full 4K camera feed and the audio, I'll typically go live from the browser and select the Rode as my camera and audio. On a bigger live stream, if I'm switching between multiple cameras or looking to use an encoder, that's when I'll pull out the big guns, and you can see my full Blackmagic ATEM switcher setup in other videos. But for now, the Sony combined with the Rode for capture has been working flawlessly, and I'll link to those down below. The ZV-E10 is going to be a powerful camera this year, and despite being released nearly 3 years ago, Sony was way far ahead of its time, and I still stick behind this being a great home or office camera for streaming, especially in 4K. Thanks for watching this one. See you next time.